Alright, um, let's begin by filling up our canvas with black, because most of what we're doing is going to be on dark background. Next, go to the file I sent, you get that red background. Let's scale that up. Scale it up and just adjust it. Next, we want to have the car. If you have any part of that car having some sort of white around it, what you want to do is control click on the thumbnail. That way you get the selection and then you modify and you contract. You want it to become smaller by 1 or 2 pixels. Then you click the mask tool. That way you removed some of it. I still see some of the white, so I'm just gonna use the pen tool to mask around. Yeah. So control backspace while having that mark selected will remove the mask part. I want to make the part under the car to be dark because once that is done, I want to make some parts of the car bright and some parts dark, because that's how it should look like in real life. What I'm going to do is create a brightness layer and then clip mask it to just the car. Next, I'm going to use my brush tool to paint over the parts I do not want to be bright. So that's just the bottom part of the car. Right. Next, I'm going to make the bottom part of the car to also be darker and remove the top part. So basically, it looks like there's light coming to the top of the car. You could fix this. You could do it whichever way you want, but looking at it now, I probably would have done maybe a blurring effect and all that, but this should be fine. Next, we're trying to add in that spark. Alt and click to remove it from being clip masked. Let's flip that around. Then make the adjustments. The next major thing we need to add in now is the text. So you have these pre-rendered text in your file folder. what I'm going for is tier rubber. So I bring in all the text that would form tier rubber. One tip for you could do, say, an MTN ad with this. You could say *737. You could use an Airtel ad with *444#, or an Access Bank with *901#. It's the text have already been rendered and it already gives you that effect by itself. So alternatively, you could also check online if you see other rendered texts that are like 3D like this. This sort of just takes a whole lot of time away from your hands, and then you can focus on making designs that actually look nice. So right now in rubber we have everything for rubber, and in tier we have everything for tier. Let's put all. So what we're going to do now is to readjust everything so it spells out the word rubber. So feel free to make this random anyhow you like it to be. Just know you're putting one in front of the other and all that. Nothing strict, so you can always move things around. We also want to get that question mark into because it's part of our design. We're also doing the same thing to TEAR. So just like that, you have your wordings in. Next thing we're going to do is we're going to add some filters. So first is color balance. We want to click mask it to our text effects, then change the midtones. Basically, we want to make it red, like increase the red values. So keep adjusting the red and depending on the kind of effect you're going for. Why are we making it red? We want it to blend more with the background. You get, like, if it was blue or green, then you know it will look weird and all that. Next, we also want to make some parts dark. To remove that effect, we'll just click the mask tool, then control backspace. It will pick the color from the color palette on the bottom left and allow you to fill that space with either black or white. So basically, the parts that touch each other should be a bit dark. It's pretty normal. It's what you expect if they were real, and that's probably what we're trying to recreate, that same effect. Next, we want to use the brush tool to paint like behind several of the characters. Just paint black behind them. Basically, it sort of makes it look like U is on top of B, hence that part where they're on top of each other, it's a bit dark. Just slight brush tool, it will make it look way better than just leaving it just like that. So we're doing the same thing for tier 2. The stronger the shadows, the more it looks like one is way ahead of the other one. We always go in to reduce if you feel one is darker than the other. So we want to duplicate the text effect. Then on the group, just press Ctrl E to convert that group into a normal layer. Then you press Ctrl click on the thumbnail, allows you to select. Then you can now go ahead and Ctrl backspace for it to fill up that selection. It's okay to have a shadow behind the text. Just make sure that it has the deep red as opposed to just black. So we're just making adjustments to the spark. Basically anything that ends abruptly on the screen should just go. Try experimenting with your files. If it looks better with another spark, then you could always add that as well. You could also add smokes overlaid on this too. Playing with color balance, you could increase the red, make it look more like spicy red. So you can use selective color to move your whole design from being red to pink, in case you're working on a company's brand that uses more of pink, let's say Conga or any of that stuff. Part of what makes this design unique is first the 3D text. If you're given a project, if you're given a design by a client and you want to do something like this, you need to identify what the catchy word is, what that main word that would stick out. So like I initially suggested, something like MTN's GT Bank 737 or whatever events. Let's imagine those the text being that you would need to have something in place of the car that sort of is not really all that part of the design, but at the same time it's important to be there. So you might replace that with a chair, a royal looking chair that's gold or something. We could replace that with, let's say, a bottle, a drink, whatever. But it's important that that's there so that it kind of also gives the eye something to look at. I'm just going to change this from it's a bit of a struggle trying to find how well you can put the text in a way that it doesn't look too much. So I sort of did a couple for you so that you'll be able to play with it, see if it works for your own design. For this one, I found that this doesn't work. But I still tried it though. So the font I'm going to use is Montserrat. So I want to be able to have the same effect on top of the car, as in above the car's layer. So I just duplicate the whole thing, put it in a group and duplicate the whole thing, and then put that layer on top. So this is just pretty random. You could also, using hue and saturation, change the color of the background. Say you're working with something blue, or pink or whatever. You can just go there and change that. I want to make Teraba bigger. Don't forget to add sharpen. It really makes your images look way better and sharper. You can also add some lights. Change the blending mode. Whatever works for you. Same thing with the other. So if you've come to the end of this tutorial, and your work looks like this, congratulations, well done. What you need to do is try to recreate something from this. Okay, you could have this in your portfolio, so try to remove Teraba. You could use another word, something catchy. You could even use your name, you know, how you're feeling. But the most important thing is to use a brand, because say you put it in your portfolio and someone wants to hire you, them seeing a popular brand name or brand whatever, they'll just assume that it was done for that brand, and those could be some of the things they would see and want to give you the job. So as opposed to using your name, because nobody really would reward you for using your name, making your name look fine. So try to do this using a brand. Airtel will be nice. You can make this something that works for MTN too, and other brands as well. Don't forget to put your name and all that. See you in the next tutorial.